The audience whispers to each other the situation. I didn't hear it. He called her a liar and kicked her out? I don't understand how this happened. It would seem like a normal late-night interview, but it turns out that the host has an ulterior motive that goes far beyond entertainment. What you're about to hear is the true story of one of the most explosive confrontations in the history of late-night television, so intense that it ended with Jennifer Lopez kicking Jimmy Kimmel off the stage. This isn't just another failed celebrity interview. It's about respect, principles, and what happens when a talk show host crosses a line that should never be crossed. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment below, because this story will change the way you think about late-night television forever. Jimmy Kimmel, all charm and quick wit, welcomes her with a grin, the crowd roaring as she settles into the guest chair, her sequined dress shimmering under the lights. He starts with the usual warmth, asking how she'd like to be called, J-Lo, Jennifer, or something else entirely. She laughs, a touch stiffly, and says, "Jennifer's fine, Jimmy," her voice carrying a subtle edge that hints at caution. The plan seems to be a chat about her upcoming 2026 film, a drama already sparking Oscar whispers, but Jimmy veers off script with a glint in his eye that feels more pointed than playful. "Jen, I gotta ask," he says, leaning in, his tone teasing but sharp. "When you first met Diddy, back in the day, was he already the, let's say, electrifying party king we all know?" The question lands like a spark in dry grass, the audience murmuring as Jennifer's smile flickers, her eyes narrowing just enough to betray her discomfort. She responds, her voice steady but laced with steel. "Jimmy, you know how it was. Sean was always high energy, bringing people together, all about the music. That's what I remember." Her answer is careful, deflecting, but the crowd senses the shift, their laughter tinged with unease. Jimmy doesn't let it go, his smile tightening as he presses further, his words taking on a needling edge. "Those parties, though, people are talking now, saying some wild things went down. Stuff that's hard to explain without a lawyer, right?" The audience gasps, a few nervous chuckles breaking through as Jennifer's posture stiffens, her jaw clenching. "Jimmy, I'm not here for this," she says, her voice low, cutting. "I was there for the music, the vibe. Don't twist it into something it wasn't." Her tone is a warning, but Jimmy, either misreading the moment or leaning into it, doubles down, pulling out a printed article from under his desk, holding it up like a prop. "I mean, Jen, there's this piece from last week, quoting someone who says you were at one of those parties where things got murky. You can't say you didn't know something, right? If you did and stayed quiet, that's a different kind of story." The accusation lands like a gut punch, the crowd's murmurs swelling into a chaotic hum. Jennifer's eyes flash with anger, her voice rising, sharp and unyielding. "You're really doing this? Dragging my name through some tabloid mess on live TV? I wasn't part of anything shady, and you know it. This is disrespectful." Her words crackle with fury, and the audience is split. Some cheer her defiance, others lean forward, riveted by the escalating tension. Jimmy, unfazed, leans back, his tone still light but with a provocative edge, as he slides another paper across the desk, this one with a grainy photo of a party scene, names redacted but implications clear. "Look, Jen, I'm just asking what everyone's thinking. There's photos, stories, people talking. You were in that world. You can't pretend it's all news to you." The crowd's reaction is a mix of shock and support, some shouting for Jennifer, others whispering as the air grows thick with discomfort. Jennifer leans forward, her voice trembling with a mix of rage and hurt, her hands gripping the arms of her chair. "You're sitting there, throwing around half-truths and old gossip, trying to paint me as something I'm not. You want to talk about respect? Where's yours? I came here to talk about my work, my art, and you're turning it into a circus." Her words are raw, her emotion palpable, and the audience feels it, their energy shifting as they hang on her every syllable. Jimmy, sensing the moment slipping, tries to pivot with a joke, but it falls flat, the room too charged to laugh. Jennifer doesn't back down, her voice rising further, cutting through the noise. "You don't get to ambush me like this, Jimmy. You don't get to twist my past to fit your narrative. I'm not your punchline." The tension is unbearable, the crowd teetering between support for her stand and shock at the unraveling scene. Every eye glued to the stage as the confrontation reaches a fever pitch, a moment so intense it feels like the entire show could implode. And trust me, you'll want to see what happens next because this isn't just a clash. It's a reckoning that's about to shake the foundations of late-night TV. The studio air is thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin prickle, as Jennifer Lopez stares down Jimmy Kimmel, her eyes burning with a mix of fury and betrayal. The audience caught in a breathless hush, their earlier cheers now a distant echo. The stage, bathed in harsh studio light, feels like a battlefield, with Jennifer's words, sharp, raw, and unapologetic, still ringing. "You don't get to ambush me like this, Jimmy. I'm not your punchline." The crowd is a live wire, some shouting her name in solidarity, others whispering, their phones already lighting up with clips of the moment spreading like wildfire across social media. Jimmy, his usual easy grin replaced by a strained smirk, tries to steer the ship back to safer waters, but the damage is done, and Jennifer isn't letting him off the hook. "You want to keep digging?" she says, her voice low but venomous, leaning forward so the mic catches every word. You're sitting there with your little props, acting like you've cracked some big case, but all you're doing is dragging my name through the mud for clicks and laughs. The audience gasps, a few clapping in support, but Jimmy, sensing the moment slipping further, doubles down, his tone sharper now, less playful. "Jen, I'm just asking what people want to know," he says, holding up another article, this one with a bold headline screaming about Diddy's infamous parties. "This isn't just gossip. There's testimony, people coming forward, saying things went down that you had to have seen. You were there, right? Center of it all?" The implication lands like a slap, and the crowd's reaction is a chaotic mix of boos and murmurs, some fans yelling, "Leave her alone," while others lean in, hungry for more. Jennifer's face tightens, her hands balling into fists as she fights to keep her composure. "You're unbelievable," she says, her voice trembling with barely contained rage. "I was a young woman in this industry, working my ass off, and you're trying to pin someone else's mess on me. I didn't run those parties, Jimmy. I didn't make those choices. You want to talk about accountability? How about yours for putting me on trial like this?" Her words are a gut punch, and the audience erupts, some standing, clapping, others shouting at Jimmy, the energy in the room teetering on the edge of chaos. But then comes the twist no one saw coming. Jimmy, his face flushed, his charm crumbling under the pressure, leans back and says, "You know what, Jen? Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm out of line. But here's the thing. Someone sent me a video last night." He pauses, letting the words hang, the audience holding its breath as he signals to the control booth. The giant screen behind them flickers to life, showing grainy, shaky footage of a crowded party, pulsing with music and lights. And there, in the background, is a younger Jennifer, laughing, dancing, unaware of the camera. The clip is vague, the context unclear, but Jimmy's voice cuts through, calm but pointed. "This is from '99, Jen. One of those parties. You look pretty comfortable there, don't you?" The audience gasps, the sound swelling into a roar as Jennifer's face drains of color, her eyes locked on the screen. For a moment, she's frozen, the weight of the moment crushing, but then she snaps back, her voice rising, raw and fierce. "You think a blurry video of me dancing proves something? I was 30, Jimmy, living my life, building my career. You're taking a snapshot and turning it into a crime scene. This is disgusting." Her voice cracks, not with weakness but with a fury so deep it silences the room, her hands trembling as she points at him. "You're not a journalist, you're a host. Act like one." The crowd is on its feet now, some cheering her defiance, others stunned, the air electric with the kind of raw emotion that makes history. Jimmy, his composure fraying, tries to pivot, his voice tight. "Jen, I'm just showing what's out there. People are asking questions and—" But she cuts him off, her voice ablade. "No, you're not. You're chasing clout and you're doing it on my back. I've spent decades proving who I am, and you think you can tear that down in 10 minutes? You're pathetic." The word lands like a bomb, the audience exploding. Some chanting her name, others booing Jimmy. The studio a cauldron of noise and emotion. Jimmy's face hardens, his patience snapping as he stands, his voice cold. "You know what, Jennifer? If you can't handle a real conversation, maybe this isn't the place for you. Why don't you just go?" The crowd gasps, a collective intake of breath as the words sink in. Jimmy Kimmel, the affable host, just told Jennifer Lopez to leave his show. For a moment, time stops. Jennifer staring at him, her eyes blazing with a mix of shock and defiance. She doesn't move, doesn't flinch, just holds his gaze, the silence deafening. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, she stands, her posture regal, her voice steady but laced with contempt. You don't get to dismiss me, Jimmy, but I'll leave, because I'm done with this circus. She turns, the crowd roaring, some cheering, some shouting in protest, as she walks off the stage, her heels echoing in the stunned silence. Jimmy, visibly shaken, tries to recover, forcing a laugh as he signals for a commercial break. Well, folks, that's live TV for you, he says, but his voice is hollow, the audience's energy fractured, some still clapping for Jennifer, others murmuring in disbelief. The show stumbles to a close, Jimmy rushing through his closing remarks. The usual warmth replaced by a strained, awkward energy, the credits rolling as the crowd files out, buzzing with what they've just witnessed. Backstage in the dim, cluttered green room, Jimmy finds Jennifer, who's pacing, her face a storm of emotions. Anger, hurt, but also something fiercer, like she's reclaiming her power with every step. He approaches, his demeanor softer now, almost conspiratorial, a nervous grin on his face. Jen, that was one hell of a spectacle we put on, huh? We had them eating out of our hands. He chuckles, expecting her to play along, but Jennifer stops, turning to face him, her eyes sharp enough to cut glass. For a moment, she says nothing, letting his words hang in the air. Then she steps closer, her voice low, electric. You think that was a game out there? You humiliated me, Jimmy. You made it personal, and I played along because I had to. But don't mistake this for a stunt. She pauses, her gaze unwavering. Then a slow, almost dangerous smile curves her lips. But damn, it was good TV, wasn't it? Jimmy blinks, caught off guard, a nervous laugh escaping him as she turns away, leaving him standing there, the weight of her words sinking in. The moment lingers, unresolved, a spark that could ignite 1,000 headlines, and you'll want to stick around because this isn't just a clash. It's a story that's about to rewrite the rules of fame, power, and the price of a single misstep.